Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. I'm J.W. Stewart, along with Bruce Barber. Bruce, you play video games at all?
I do not, but I'm pleased to be here with the future.
The future is the present.
Yes.
The future is here. And the University of New Haven has been leading the charge when it comes to esports and gaming, not only as a team, but also as a major here at the undergraduate and graduate levels. And joining us today is David Ramirez and Rob Holub. David is a senior majoring in sport management with a minor in esports and gaming. He's also on the esports team here at the University of New Haven. And Rob Holub is the director of esports. David, Rob, it's great to see you guys. Thanks for being here on Charger 360.
Yeah, no problem. It's great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
So is this a great country or what? I mean, you know, I just love to see the change that's happening right now and this move to really esports becoming something that just was gaming, and now it's like it's a professional sport. And so there are professional athletes playing the game and also people that are responsible for organizing the events. So talk about your path. How did you get involved in this?
Well, my path was basically, first year, I just came here as a student. So originally I was just planning on being a student, not really partaking in any athletics. Kind of gave that up after high school. But when I met Corey and a few of my current teammates and past teammates, that ended up playing, saying, hey, we actually have a competitive Call of Duty team here. And I said, where do I sign the paper or the waiver to be a player? I want to join. And so that kind of kick-started how I started playing, and it's been the same since freshman year.
You're from Ansonia, so not too far away from us. Rob, you have a long history here with the University of New Haven. Tell us about your path to UNH and how long you've stuck around.
Yeah, I'm ashamed to say it's been 20 years already. It's fall 04 is when I got here as a freshman, and myself as a sport management major, and same idea of didn't think I was going to continue my athletics. Ended up playing ice hockey and lacrosse here from freshman all the way through grad school here as well. But came for sport management, same kind of idea. And then that hands-on learning, have taught for a bit, have done a lot of different roles, and then have now found myself not only starting to build our program, both academic and varsity, but also now running our program too.
Rob, tell us why the University of New Haven decided to kind of not only dip its toe in the water, but jump in head first with regard to creating an esports program, both team and an academic program.
Yeah, I think Bruce kind of hit the nail on the head with where the industry is going and where also our entertainment values as a country is going, right? Is that we're seeing that video games and things, or even watching video games are big business, whether it's YouTube gaming, whether it's Twitch. It's going to professional tournaments or even amateur tournaments. But I think the university made a very strong pivot for that reason, and also because of the alumni. We went back and pulled the alumni, and three of the major areas we saw where the industry was going to move forward was sports media, gambling that we've now seen is legalized not only in the state of Connecticut, but also places now is synonymous. Every time you turn on a game, you can't, with March Madness going on, you cannot miss a spread or a prop bet or things like that. And then esports was the third one. And that came from a lot of our professional alumni in different fields saying this is where things are heading. So we pivoted and then made degrees in all three areas and then just enhanced that ecosystem with the team.
Yeah, and it really is. It's super important for us here on campus to be, you know, what we call market responsive when we're talking about some of the programs that we develop. And I think it's great that both of you could be here today so that we can dispel some of the myths. So for example, David, when you tell people that you play on our esports team, what are people's reactions usually?
They're usually flabbergasted. They kind of don't, a lot of people don't understand the concept of competitive video games and actually, you know, being able to travel places and play other teams and play relatively against the best people in the country. So it's kind of a hard concept for people to grasp at first, especially in the older ages, but people like my age and younger, it's very popular. It's very popular with the younger generations. So they kind of already have a profound sense of like what it is and how to do it, but it's a little harder to explain it the older we get.
Yeah. We have some photos of you and your teammates. Let's put them up here on the monitor wall. So David, how many people are on your team? You said you play Call of Duty, right?
Oh, I used to play Call of Duty, but I now play Halo.
Yep. So who do we see here, and how did you come up with your nickname, by the way?
So the name was just something I made. It was just something that was kind of there. I don't really remember the creative juice that went behind it, but you know, it's unique. It's very eye-catching. Some people don't really understand it. So you have me on the right side, Connor Linkavix to the right of me, Jared DePaulo, and our old teammate from last year, Dan, who is a graduate of the UNH now. But our current fourth, who you see on the USM LAN slide, is Nick Perez, who is a current senior here at the university.
And you guys just came back from a tournament at Southern Miss during spring break down in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We actually have some recent video. We're going to lay out and take a look and put the video up in the monitor wall, and we'll take a look at esports in action together.
There's team here with that.
Nope.
Connor
Nothing.
flying right at him with this OS, yeah. A triple kill now
Connor
for
with the
Connor,
kill
though.
too.
Yeah, has
Yeah,
Heat Wave
big lead.
OS. New Haven should have possession of that sniper as well.
Two. Two goals. You just got shot. Okay. That's what they call me. I'm telling you, drive, I would do.
I'm nading this shit.
One
Here, Nick.
Nothing. I'll push it through.
Give me time.
Two ATM.
I got one.
One more. Take
nine.
Big steps. Big steps.
Top C, I'm telling you.
Top C weak.
Yeah, watch out.
Front C. Last one.
Bottom C.
I'm looking driveway.
So David, talk us through what we just saw there from start to finish.
So the first in-game clip is our first match together as a first regular season match together as a team against FSA. So that was just one of the better in-game clips that we could steal from the stream. They don't really do a lot of production often, so when they do, we try to get as much as we can from it. And the B-roll or the background footage that you see of us is from our LAN qualifiers a couple weeks back before we went to Hattiesburg. That's just a match between, I think, between either us and New Mexico State or Ohio State. We doubled up on that day, so there was a lot of footage from that day. It was just, just us talking to each other, communicating, just getting things done.
Yeah, could you break down what you're saying? Because it's all kind of foreign to us. Like,
Shoot that guy.
Yeah. Well, like, what are the commands that you're giving out to your teammates?
Yeah, so sometimes even they don't understand me sometimes, and they make it known to me. I'm one of the more faster talkers on the team, so when I get comms out, it's pretty fast. So that's just like pinpointing where people are. Usually there's certain points on the map that are labeled A, B, and C, or we just have our own comms for like what a certain location is. So that's usually generally what you hear, or you hear like, oh, like he's dead, like that means I killed the character in the game, or just certain rotations is just make sure we're pushing together as a team. Just a lot of things you would think you would hear in like traditional sports, like, oh, I'm with you, oh, we can go this way, just push the ball that way. It's very transitional at the end of the day.
Sounds like that quarterback, right? Right at that line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
where
interesting.
And then all of a sudden you hear potato, 14, blue, and you're like, what is he saying, right? And then everybody's responding to it. And
No,
stuff,
it's so cool watching that. And you were just saying earlier, Rob, that there are tournaments that are attracting thousands and thousands of spectators, live spectators.
Yeah, and you're seeing it all over, not only on the collegiate scene, you're seeing what they call LANs. So those are synonymous for anything where we have an in-person tournament. A lot of the matches, we have over 150 matches played already with our esports program this year. Most of those are just done simply through the internet. So we're sitting on our campus, the other team is on their campus, which makes that possibility of playing in New Mexico or Ohio State a very easy possibility. And then to your point, people are paying hundreds of dollars to go for admissions tickets along with concessions and hotels and parking, and it's tourism, right? It's destination tourism 101, just using esports as your entertainment.
Is everything streamed now in the esports world? Can you find it on Twitch or some other streaming service?
Yeah, generally there's a stream going on on a lot of different platforms. You have people streaming on Twitch, YouTube. They've even gone to Facebook recently too. So you could find them almost generally anywhere. So whenever there's an event, you can find multiple streams, watch parties. Like right now, the Call of Duty League's hosting a event in Miami. So there's you search it up, there's 7 streams minimum. You could probably find way more.
And I've got to believe this is really helping you, I think your generation of content creators, right? You're all comfortable being in front of a camera, being in a conversation with multiple people. That's got to be helpful no matter what career path you take. What career path are you thinking about taking?
I'm generally kind of in the mix of a decent amount of things recently. I'm generally more focused on college athletics, but generally being in front of a camera and doing these interviews, especially when we're in tournaments or playing a game, you definitely have to be aware of what you say, so it makes it easier to transition to the professional world.
Is this a big problem, Rob, with what people say on a live stream and what's professional and not professional?
Yeah, I think it's anything, right, in life is, back in my day, when we started college, it was be careful what you posted, right? And that only came when I was a sophomore, junior here, is when social media didn't even exist, right? And so you're seeing it, I think the line has also moved. It doesn't necessarily mean the bar is lowered. The line is moved where, if you hear things or you see things, we're just desensitized, or we realize if it doesn't really bother us, it's okay. So we're kind of, I think, in the middle of that, and the same thing, but again, this teaches to that point. All these phenomenal things that traditional athletics we look at, of time management, responsibility, and communication, it's the exact same thing. Again, it's just simply sitting behind a computer versus you're out in a field at 30-degree weather.
But it also really does bring up a big point, and it's so interesting to have watched this incredible evolution of media and technology in the past 30 years. It's just, you can't believe. I mean, I look at that picture of college students wired up playing, video games remotely over great distances, and I was like, we had reel-to-reel tape recorders at the campus radio station.
You'd unplug your controller, right? If you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
mad,
right,
you could
yeah.
come up to the screen and unplug, and the game would end.
We were playing Pong, but I think it's great. I just love being on a college campus in this time where we are in this period of rapid change, rapid evolution. And we're with people who've both, for J-Dub and myself, we've been there in traditional media, but to now watch your generation adapt to all these new platforms. And one of them is that you really do get a chance to learn about how to regulate what you're saying, because it can have a dramatic impact on your life, correct?
100%, especially when we go to tournaments and we're getting interviewed, we wear the jersey, we know we're representing ourselves, our coaching staff, the university, our families. So we definitely really have a focus on being humble, grateful, and definitely respectful at the end of the day, especially like when we're at an event that's not our own facility. We got to treat it with the utmost respect and just understanding like these people don't know who we are, so let's just be the most proper guest that we can be.
Speaking of our facility, let's talk a little bit about the stable. We saw some shots of that, not only the pictures, but the video. Tell us about the stable and why it's such an amazing place to be.
The stable is just great. There's special teams. There's a lot of special players in the program that really put their passion into what they do on a day-to-day basis. And kind of when we're all there, we kind of all feed off of the passion. I'm pretty sure Rob has definitely gotten a few complaints about us being the most noisy and loud.
It's very soundproof in there on purpose. It does do a very good job.
It is soundproof, but it's definitely what we would call a passion pit. A lot of people are very passionate about their games. Really, we support each other. We, communicate with each other to make sure, try to avoid a lot of issues as much as we can. So it's a great place to be. As you saw, and the whiteboard is covered in different types of artwork and writing.
Yeah, and we should point out the stable is located right in the building we're in right now, and this building has a great story. It's the Bergamy Center for Science, Technology, and Innovation, completed in 2020, which was the year of our 100th anniversary. State-of-the-art, we're in our state-of-the-art television studio, and they put in this really state-of-the-art gaming suite, correct? How many can it hold?
I believe it is at a 25 for competitive players. There's 2 coaching stations, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rob.
Okay.
But but we have tables on the side. It can hold more than the 27 computer limit that we have.
Got about a minute left as we wrap up here with Rob Holub and David Ramirez. David was talking about the future. Rob, I wanted to ask you, what is the job market for esports? Because this must be the question you get all the time from parents, right? What is the job market? I mean, what happens once they come here to the University of New Haven, maybe play on the esports team like David, you study it, major, minor in it. What happens after you graduate?
Yeah, and I think that's the really good question of all of our majors, and what we're really big here at the University of New Haven is a lot of flexibility and teaching that skill set. So if it's within media or content creation, it's doing sponsorship activation or sponsorship sales. It also goes down to facility management, team management, logistics. We just talked tourism goes in there. You can also go on the gambling side of things, not actually gambling, but all the regulation behind it, cybersecurity, right, data science, is the majors go on and on and on. And then even on that side, we've We've even have an entire program on the investigation side on corruption and gambling. So you name it, and there's probably an application for it, even on the science side and everything kind of in between. So.
There is a future if you send your son or daughter to the University of New Haven. They're not just playing video games. You can actually work in the esports market in that space once you graduate.
Correct.
All right, that'll wrap up this edition of Charger 360 as we talk esports here with David Ramirez and Rob Holub. David, congratulations on everything you've accomplished here at the University of New Haven. We're going to miss you when you graduate. Hopefully you stick around. I know your plans are still up in the air, but thanks for everything you've done for us and represented us in a professional manner. And Rob, thanks for all you do. And you've worn a lot of hats, and you've done a great job as the director of esports. So thank you guys for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Bruce, thanks again for everything. Excellent job.
We've seen the future.
We have. The future's here, and the future looks bright, right?
Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
Unlike us.
Oh, well, that's well said.
Thank you.
Probably time to sign off with
Yes,
that one.
it is.
For Rob, for David, for Bruce, I'm Jay Dove. Thanks for watching Charger 360, telling the stories of the University of New Haven. We'll see you next time.